It's time! It's time! Feel the pain and blame it on yourself. Oh, hello. You feel the pain.
The Berklee College of Music is a school in Boston that specializes in the study of contemporary music. Here, many of the students have taken to the basements to join a thriving scene of secret concerts in their own homes.
It's a new song.
Yeah, it's over.
The DIY scene in Boston is very much like the college kids of Berklee, Emerson, a little bit of Boston College, a little bit of BU and Northeastern. And it's like all the rock and indie bands that have trouble kind of booking normal shows in Boston just because there's so few venues that book up and coming rock bands. It's like creating a scene for ourselves in the basements of our friends' houses.
I am not one, beautiful and fun.
In my experiences, it's just been a bunch of friends who live in a house and they decide that just because they like the music or they want to generate some extra revenue to help with rent, they'll put on shows and spaces in their basement or their garage, and they'll invite local bands to play on bills, and it's a way of bypassing some of the more strict, like 21 plus bar club scenes.
Everyone had a band, needed a place to play, and then doing venues just really didn't seem like an option. I was into music where I heard that people apparently put on shows in their basement. That was just totally foreign to me. And then I started going to them, and then it was kind of like this cool, crazy experience on the weekends, going to music school. On the weekends you go to these actual shows. You just meet people through that, and then you get to play with them.
And which ain't that bad, but sometimes you can't help but say.
It's not that hard.
No,
you just message people.
You just kind of have to. It's definitely helpful to know like a band.
Yeah.
Like it's definitely helpful to be like put on a bill with a band that you have friends.
Yeah.
But then once you do that, it's so much easier.
Yeah. Most of what we do to get booked is just literally email people and DM them on Instagram.
I harass a lot of people.
Yeah.
Going to that first show, it was so cool to see those bands playing. So I wanted to do that after I saw it. Like I wanted to be one of those bands that played. I thought it was so cool that they were playing in the basement.
Can't let my emotions take me for a ghost. Someday I'll see. Thank you.
I'm James. I'm Travis. This is the Green Thumb. The Green Thumb. When she
We started doing, I've been living here for 3 years, and we started doing gigs here like a year ago.
In the summer, right?
Yeah, I think honestly, like we had been living here for a while and we rehearsed in the basement a lot, and we'd always kind of toyed with the idea of doing shows, but we kind of felt like the space might not be big enough. And then I think some friends just hit us up and like, we're trying to play a show, and we kind of just like put together a show like really spontaneously one weekend, and it went really well, and then we just continued doing it.
We either have something in mind that we want to do, like we did a Nirvana tribute show a while ago where we like picked out all the bands that we wanted to play, and we're doing like
Electronic.
Yeah, we're doing an electronic one in the future, like people playing 404s and stuff like that. But a lot of the time, like this one, Christine from Alton Pudding just hit me up. Like we sometimes host bills like that. Just get dropped in our lap. Like, hey, can you do a show on whatever day this is? These are the bands and shit.
Yeah.
And then
They come
like,
through in a lot of different ways. Like sometimes it's our friends' bands want to play a show, and then we'll like build a bill around like the band, like other bands that kind of fit in.
Yeah. A lot of
Sometimes
stuff
through
Instagram,
like
too.
Facebook, yeah, or Instagram, like a lot of the like Facebook DIY postings, people will post that they need a gig in Boston, and we'll just try and work around that. I kind of just love being able to like support the local musicians and the musicians that come through from like out of state, and just like having music in the house all the time.
Yeah, like I've been booking shows for a long time, but I've had nowhere to like actually host them, so it's been sick to actually have a spot to do it.
It's called overplayed shit. The radio.
It was great to go over to their place and feel welcomed, and just to like, you know, be able to check out your friends and watch music with your friends and stuff. And I wanted to do that. I wanted to be the host. Like, as soon as I went to a house show, I was like, I want to do that. Like, I want to have a house show there. And so I did. And yeah, it was fun. We were always just fielding requests from people that wanted to play. So it was always like first come, first serve. Just like people would be hitting us up, and our friends would tell that, because whenever a band came in asking about a show venue, they'd say, oh yeah, the Snake Pit Books or whatever. Mainly it was just people like hit me up on Facebook, or yeah. People would be like, you know, this person, your friend, told me to hit you up, you know. Yeah, I don't think I ever like fully booked a show. Like, I was always asked first about it.
Oh, this house is my baby, man. I just assembled as many of my friends as possible. And like, why don't we just start a show house? Like, what's stopping us?
So far, people are they reach out to us.
That's so bizarre.
And we like to, yeah, we're crazy disorganized.
But it works.
But we like to get a vast array of genres.
So
We've
far,
never organized nights by genre, ever. It'll be like singer-songwriter, hardcore punk, like
Rap,
and then yeah, a lot of times it happens accidentally just because circle back homogenous DIY scene.
Like a lot of people from Berklee like message us, and then they're just like I'm a '90s R&B singer. Let me sing at your house, and we're like, oh, okay.
We haven't really started vetting because we're just so new that pretty much anyone who DMs us will try to get you in. And we know the other houses well enough to we can be like, hey, like, do you know this person? Did they put on a cool show? Did they vibe?
It's cool that this house lets anyone play, because that's not how any of the music schools work around here. It's so fucking easy.
There's a day leaf crumpled in my bed from a fleeting love that left for dead, and I feel a ringing in my head, and it makes
the whole idea of DIY music is just kind of like anything that you can put together with things that you have in your apartment. Hopefully they're instruments, although I guess they don't have to be. And that translates very well into the house show scene, or the idea of house shows. It's kind of hand in hand for the most part, because it's people that are either just starting out or not trying to go about the music industry from the industry side. It's more about the music, or at least that's what it is for me. It is a chance to kind of give yourself a platform for your art that isn't defined by trying to fill a demographic.
I have chosen for some reason there's a photograph I burned on the shelf, one we took
opposed to a way of creating music.
Like, people would not look at the music that we make and immediately call it DIY music, but the fact is that we make our music in the DIY way.
Yeah.
In that
you make your music yourself. Like, we're not signed to a record label, nor are we particularly trying to be at this point in time. Like, we record with our friends that let us record for free, and we make all of our own CDs and design all our own art for the most part.
There's a lot of people that think it's like the band made up of all like white guys playing like prog rock,
which
or,
is
like, indie rock.
Unfortunately a lot of
which
what
is
the
a lot
scene
of it.
is. Like, I would definitely say there's a big lack of diversity in the scene.
Of
like
music, of
if
genders,
music, of races, like
of ability levels, like
probably a lot of people that aren't cis het white men have experienced this, where you roll up to a gig and like a lot of times we'll show up, we'll even have our instruments with us, and people will assume we're like the girlfriends. Or we'll always get put first, even if we're like the most seasoned band there, like that sort of thing. Like, there's a lot of snap judgments that get made, and like, you know, like if there's a show that's all men, it's just called a show. If there's a show that's all women, it's girls' night. Or if there's a show that has trans people or non-binary people, then it's gay night. Like, not to say that there's anything wrong with creating spaces specifically for like queer people and for women and for you know, people that aren't cis men to like be together, but labeling everything that those people in those categories do, like, just further stratifies.
Like, when you tokenize it, it's not like helpful. It's just like, here, I gave you your space, and now I'm gonna go back to booking only cis white men.
Yeah.
So don't test my patience. I just can't take it. Oh, you big ass. And your tiny box says, thank you.
When you're in your first 2 years of playing in a band together, which most of the people in the scene are, because we all came here for school and a lot of people didn't know each other first, like, it takes time to develop what you want to sound like or what you want to perform like what your image is, what your identity is, and like even just the music you want to play. Like the first set of songs that we played at a house show, we probably only play like 3 or 4 of those songs anymore in a set. So to have an audience that's welcoming and understanding of that and encouraging you to refine what you do and do better at what you do is phenomenal.
Yeah. The thing about house shows around here, and especially the ones that we play, is like we're playing with our peers. So we're all like learning together, and I feel like a lot of the time you like pick things up from your friends and stuff. Just like, and you feel like you all like you're all progressing together. And then also like the people that come out to see you are doing the same thing, I feel like, a lot of the time. So it's just a really like genuine, like cool learning environment, and we're all progressing. It's a good like incubator for like
It's a great place to like figure out how to play it.
Yeah.
Because like if you're just loud, like it's gonna be fun because people are gonna be drunk. And like just like in basements we played like I don't know 20 times to a bunch of people like couldn't even hear us, but just because of that I feel like we're much better as a band. Like when we actually do play venues with good sound. Like people are coming to see us, not just because it's a party.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's just a good place to grow.
The DIY scene really helps
I think, get a lot of bands off the ground, because when you're just in the big city, whether you go to Berklee or not, it's hard to find gigs around. Like, you know, yes, you can, you know, email your local bar and see if they want to book you, but even then, you know, they can be kind of exclusive and maybe not get back to you. But with the DIY scene, like I said, it's so easy to get booked because there's really not a lot of exclusion. There's no kind of hand-picking bands. Everyone's invited to play because at the end of the day, people just want to see new bands they haven't heard and see their friend's band. And yeah, I think without the DIY scene, there wouldn't be as many bands flourishing like there are.
With so many opportunities to perform at Berklee, why play house shows?
Because Berklee sucks.
Your words a baby's breath, boo.
Like, you go play a Berklee show and it's like a professor, the people that organized it, and the one friend who doesn't have class that you roped into coming to the show. Unless it's like a big event that Berklee's putting on, but like, you don't meet anyone that way. You never like play with other people, and like, there's also like rules and stuff. Like, Berklee tries to like censor your music when you're playing. Like, I mean, not all the time. We've had a pretty good luck with saying bitch and shit every time we have played at Berklee, but not every time.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just like, why would I play at my school when I could play for people that actually care?
Yeah.
I guess.
Your words are honeysuckle. Keep me up a fire, rid me of trouble.
Are there a lot of opportunities to perform at Berklee for like a lot of bands?
Yeah, there are.
There's certain genres, like certainly.
Dude, we are.
Like singer-songwriters.
scene.
I was in a club once at Berklee. It was like pop A&R music, pretty much is what they liked. They liked to hear like pop music and like hip hop and stuff, but not indie or like rock really. Unless it was like very mainstream, you know. So, and I was a part of that, and I was just like, man, like this isn't really like the music that I like at all. So like that's kind of like, I feel like that's sort of representative of how like Berklee. I mean, not always. Like I do like a lot of the music that I see around Berklee.
Like, I don't know, just a lot of it is like, you're super free at a house show compared to going to school. School, it's still school. So if you go to like the events there, or it feels like you're at school. And it's like, no one wants to do that, man. Like, it's cool to go and, like, you see great music at Berklee, but like, it's not the same as the ones in the basements, because the basements, I feel like there's just like a whole different attitude that I think we identify with a lot more. You know, people at the school, you know, who do a lot of shows at the school, identify with
get the
that.
follows on the Instagrams.
It's like academic.
Yeah.
When you're at school, it's like based in academic. I don't know. And there's nothing wrong with like developing a talent and like really having a skill, you know, for music. But I feel like that's what you're gonna see at Berklee more so than like an indie band.
This is called I Don't Want You.
Feeling like I'm ready to go out of my mind.
There's like people who at Berklee who are underrated, people who are overrated, people who are unsure of themselves because they don't know where they fit inside of the Berklee bubble. Because at Berklee Berklee's a very cliquey environment. It's a lovely place. Like there's tons of amazing, supportive people, but it's also segregated in certain ways between the music scenes. There's plenty of opportunities at Berklee if you're trying to perform, but also Berklee is segregated and also political. So certain people get certain opportunities because they have the right friends in like the right places.
At Berklee, like, you know, there's certain styles of music that are up front, you know, they're, you know, Berklee takes good care of that type of music.
When you're playing a house show, it's so much more gratifying than playing a, you know, a Berklee gig or something like that, because it's hard to be super into it when the audience isn't super into it.
Guess right, man. Good morning. She's undercover as lies, slamming clothing.
What I love about the DIY scene is that it's always kind of your friends, you know, you're always seeing your friends down there, and they're, you know, every band is friends with each other, so they're all like cheering, you know, each other on.
People's bands are popping, and like it's just like a whole community, and it's kind of very inclusive, and it just has like, you're just connected to people without even knowing them when you see them at house shows or play a bill with them or whatever.
It's better than going to a party. That's what I'd like to say.
Yeah, that's really true.
Yeah, live music is better than
non-live music. Yeah, I don't need a DJ.
I like that it's like sort of almost like a party in the sense that like people are gonna be there just because it's like a cool place to hang out, and so you meet like people that you wouldn't necessarily have met in like a traditional venue just because it's like other like college age people.
It's like my favorite thing because it kind of brings together all the things that I like to do, which are like music and getting way too fucked up. Yeah.
It's definitely like a lot of fun for everyone when there's bands that can watch and like dance to and, you know, cheer their friends on and stuff like that.
It's just, it's liberating. I think that's the best way to describe it. After doing all this crazy work that you don't particularly want to do, but you're told you're supposed to do it, it's really a good time. It's a release. You know, it's just musicians being musicians.
She's got a corner with a view, a preppy intern.
This functions as like church. Like you come and you're in a community of people and you all hold this kind of abstract idea above. This is almost a form of like prayer and community.
Everybody just like comes in here and like becomes best friends with each other.
We care about this one thing, which makes us all deeply care about one another.
If I was held beneath the surface.
DIY should be the beginning of every band because it shouldn't come from a place of wanting to be successful in music. It should come from a place of wanting to be fulfilled by the music that you're making. And I feel like that's just such, like that is the bloodline of DIY and local house shows and things like that. Like you can see it in all the communities. Everyone understands that they're doing this to service the greater good of art that is good and not art for the sake of making a profit.
I just like the emphasis on like creating music, I guess, making art, and then trying to support other artists too, trying to, you know, foster connections with other people and sort of make it about the community. I think that a lot of like my favorite times at house shows, most of them have been when I wasn't playing at all, and like just the energy you get from seeing bands that you really love and like you admire. I've gotten a lot more inspired with just writing and creating music as opposed to looking at my assets as a musician in terms of like monetizing them. I mean, which again is a different thing because it's good to have that perspective as well. But I think it's really just inspired me to create more and to be more collaborative with other musicians.
Search a brand new constellation. If the
Specific shows have inspired me to go home and write. Like that, I think that's my favorite thing about the DIY scene, actually, is the amount of times I've gone to a show and been so inspired by the person playing that all I want to do, like, even though I'm enjoying it so much, all I want to do is leave and go write my own stuff because I think what they're doing is so incredibly spectacular. You don't hear everything on the radio. You don't hear everything in like bigger venues, but you hear everything. You can hear everything in a rinky-dink basement in Lower Alston, like, and you will create things you would have never created before.
I would not forget the love you gave to me.
The spring that came was not the one that everybody said would come. This year was supposed to be the best, the reason we...
It's the most fun I've had, you know. It's the most excitement that you could really have as a musician at Berklee, in my opinion.
grow up just the same.
The energy of that room is insane. Like, yeah, it's great when we go play a normal venue, but like that buzz in the room right before you play, like the electricity of that house show is just unmatched.
Getting this whole world full of, you know, people who want to hear you play, want to help you get out and play. It's definitely helped me to be more confident in my value as a musician, just because it's like, oh, people are, you know, excited to come see us play. People are here to support and enjoy, you know, the music that I'm playing and like the show that I have to offer people.
It has made me more comfortable with the idea that, you know, it's like it doesn't matter to me. I'm just having fun. It's just about having fun.
I look around and see all these other people that are able to put something together, and it's like, it's so cool, it's awesome.
We are facilitating like connection, which is facilitating art, and like it begets itself. As the scene, as the whole community here, like the more we're together, the more we create.
End it, cut.
Exit.
Don't you wanna know? Everybody's got to go. Baby, don't you wanna know? Everybody's got to go. Time that you like, it's a time to arrive. I want it, I said I want it. I just can't live in the love for it. I want it, I said I want it.